Hey, what's up? It's Brett and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be sharing with you my number one platform I would suggest using if you are a busy small business owner or entrepreneur. If you are feeling overwhelmed trying to figure out which platform to be on, how many platforms to be on, and trying to keep up with the ever-changing trends and changes to the algorithms, this is the one thing that I would recommend doing, and that is going all in on one platform. My favorite, Instagram. The reason that I suggest Instagram to all of my clients to start on first is because of the multiple layers that it has, the human connection piece it can add to your brand, as well as it can create a very strategic place to add in funnels to create some high converting results. Because of this, you're able to add in both your long-term and short-term marketing goals all at once and creating an in-depth view while giving a big picture feel. The best part about it is that you can really make it work for you, whether you love being on camera or maybe you're a little bit more on the introverted side and don't really like to show your face that much. So in this video, I'm going to be breaking down the steps and helping you build an Instagram strategy for this next year. The first step of building any strategy is doing a quick audit. That's asking yourself what's working, what's not working, what's converting really well, and what's converting not so well. The best way to find this out is to go to your Instagram Insights and look at the numbers and see what they say. Just a note, this is going to look different for everyone, which is why it's so important to build a strategy as unique as your business. The next step is going over your goals. And these are going to change from season to season and as your business grows and evolves. Are you wanting more visibility and brand awareness? Are you wanting to focus on more conversions and sales? Or are you wanting to just focus on growing your audience? Now, with those two steps in mind, now it's time to figure out what that looks like on Instagram for you. And first, that's figuring out the frequency of your content creation and your posting. This is where you're going to ask yourself, what ideally would you like to show up? How much would you like to show up on Instagram? As well as what do you actually have time for to create consistency? Now, that's a word I'm sure you've probably heard a lot, but it is important. The thing is, though, it looks different for everybody. So if that's showing up and posting every day, go ahead. If that's showing up and posting 3 times or 2 times a week, do what works for you and what you can do long term. The goal is to choose this frequency based on what you think you'd be able to do in the next 6 months and sustain. And this is also your permission right now to let go of the idea that you have to post every day to create high converting results. Just a little insight. I have created some major results for my clients and I recommend posting 3 to 4 times a week. Next is stepping into the content creation phase. And the first thing you're going to do is choose your content pillars. If you haven't heard this term before, it is simply the topics or the content buckets you will pull ideas from. Choose 3 to 5 topics that fall under your niche. And a tip for picking these is pick the topics you feel you could talk about forever. So for example, if you are in the fitness and wellness industry and are maybe a mom, some of your content pillars might look like fitness for busy moms, nutrition tip, or mindset and motivation. And under each of those content pillars, you'll create and brain up a list of content ideas that you can create and pull from continuously. Now, if you don't have a specific niche that you fall under, like you're a fitness coach, an Instagram specialist, a business coach, a fashion influencer, a fashion blogger, anything like that, then your niche would be talking to a specific group of people. And when you create these content topics, it's creating around that specific audience in mind. For example, I don't have a specific niche on my personal page, which is all about business and motherhood and being a multi-passionate entrepreneur. So I share ideally to the audience of moms wanting to create businesses and work from home, enjoying both the life of creating a business and raising babies and so on. So a lot of my content will fall into productivity tips, what it looks like behind the scenes with business, mindset and motivation. And that's how I create my content topics in mind. Now, when you have those content pillars picked, you're going to create a list under each of them with content ideas that you can continuously pull from to create content. The next step is where we're going to add a little bit of strategy. And this is going back to your insights and figuring out what type of posts worked really well for your audience and what didn't. Again, remember that this is going to be totally different for each person based on who is in your audience, and what might work for one person might not work for the other. When you go into your insights, you're going to look and see if carousel posts performed a little bit better, if static posts with pictures of you performed a little bit better, if reels were a high performer for you and a high conversion. And on here, you're not only going to look at the reach that these posts got and how many eyes eyes were on them, but you're also going to look at the actual actions that were taken on them. And I most specifically focus on the saves and the shares. Likes are really not a metric that I use to see a success of a post or what's working and what's not. Now, when it comes to adding the strategy in your content plan, you're going to keep these in mind of what really converts and speaks to your audience. For example, for a busy mom, it might be carousel posts that they can save for later and implement. This works the same as small business owners who want to be able to digest this content a little bit later when they're not so busy. Then again, people may be more of a visual learner and they may love your how-to tutorials in how to create something from point A to point B, and they'll save that reel to use for later and they need to visually see it. So for you, this might mean adding more reels into your strategy. Now, taking the frequency that you decided that you can create content, you're going to then add in what type of post your audience likes and what converts really well for you. If this means 1 reel a week and 2 carousels, 1 reel, 1 carousel, 1 static post, this is where you create that plan from. Now you're going to pull from those content pillars and the list that you created under each of them and pull your topics. This again will help you create a month of content at a time where you can sit and batch either each week or for a full month. It completely depends on what you feel you have time for, what works best for you. Sometimes you'll feel a little bit more inspired all in one day, or sometimes you feel like you need to do a couple pieces and then go back the next week and do it again and just batch them all in one day together. Now that you have some of your basic Instagram strategy written out and some content ideas in your hand, I'm going to share with you some of my bonus tips that I use not only for myself, but for my clients as well. When it comes to creating content and showing up on social media, one of the things you really need to make sure to focus on is creating and sharing the pieces that make you, you. Your audience came to your corner of squares for a reason, and sometimes the things that we don't think are very interesting are really interesting to other people. So this is something to keep in mind as you watch your content plan and your strategy unfold and what you'll look at from week to week to see what people are really kind of latching onto and really loving. This, for example, can be the fact that you love oat milk lattes or matchas, or it's a getting ready routine. Whatever you are seeing the uptick on the numbers, whether it is replies back to your story, it's story views, it is a rise in engagement or reach on your content that you created that week, that is what you need to follow and focus on. For example, one of the big pieces that I've been working on in my content strategy is doing a little bit more behind the scenes and adding kind of the fourth wall feel to my content. And the other week I shared a day in the life of a small business owner and a mom, and my reel got one of the highest reaches that I've gotten in the last 6 months. So obviously for me, that content is really high converting, and I'm going to make sure to tweak that and put that in my content strategy plan as I create more content. This is also a great rule to follow when it comes to your Instagram stories. You don't have to just be all business on your stories. It's giving people a little bit of an insight into who you are and giving a human connection to your brand and to your business. You have to remember that not only are people curious because we're humans, but the world is a lot right now, and a lot of people come to social media to escape their day for a little bit and enjoy a little piece of your world. Remember that you don't have to be showing up all day, every day on your social media to make a really big impact. And the number one step that people forget is to track your progress. You've made your goals, you've created your content plan and your content strategy. Now you need to make sure that you track those from week to week, whether it's on an Excel spreadsheet or it's just on a piece of paper. Track your numbers, track what's really working, what's really not working. And at the same time too, make sure that you're creating content that feels aligned with you, because that energy will transfer over to your audience. What did you really love creating this week? What did you really not like creating this week? What schedule's working for you? Whether that's creating every day or that's batching your content entirely for the week or for the entire month. The best thing about social media, and especially Instagram, is that you can do what works for you. But you need to make sure that you have those numbers so that you can work smarter and not harder. And so that you can also really talk to your people. I hope those steps helped you create a Instagram strategy that you not only feel confident on talking and creating and reaching your people, but that you feel really aligned with, knowing that it works for you and your business. If you are wanting to make an even bigger impact on your Instagram this year and are having a hard time growing your audience and gaining new followers on Instagram, make sure you check out this video up above where I teach you how to create a bio that converts so that you not only gain more followers that are your people, but they become your super hardcore fans. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up because it really supports my channel, and subscribe so you don't miss a video, and I will see you in the next one.